It's Trey Lance time. No surprise there, perhaps. Moving forward here, as you look at what will you get out of the third overall pick last year? You know, his rookie year didn't really offer a lot of clues as he played just 166 offensive snaps. 46 quarterbacks played more snaps than Lance, a list with names like Tim Boyle, Geno Smith, and even Jets quarterback Mike White. So the book is still very much untold on Trey Lance. So, Damien, I ask you this. Is it still time for the Trey Lance era to begin in San Francisco amidst the uncertainty of what kind of prospect he really is right now?
Well, Phil, listen, considering the compensation that the 49ers gave up, like you got to start putting them out there. You got to start, prepping him and getting him ready. But I wouldn't trade away Jimmy Garoppolo just yet. I think there should be a quarterback competition. And I know that, Jimmy Garoppolo, that Trey Lance needs snaps. But we also got to consider this 49ers team is a win-now team. This is a legit Super Bowl winning, Super Bowl contending team right now. So you have two very good assets on your roster in Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Why not let both of those guys compete? See who's the better guy, who can win the job. You can always, if Trey Lance wins this thing, you can always trade away Jimmy Garoppolo at some point later down in the calendar. But yeah, I think the 49ers are in a great situation as far as both of those guys are concerned.
Yeah, obviously being the resident 49ers fan since Field outed me on that, I look at this as you have to make a decision, Damien. I really think you do. We showed the stats, 71 passes by Trey Lance. You can take that back another year in college. He's thrown 101 passes in 2 years. He's barely played in the last 2 years because of COVID-19. North Dakota State played just one game in the fall schedule, 2020. This is a player that has to get on the field. That was my argument when they drafted him even was at some point he has to play, even though he needed developed. Now's the time. So I also think if you're going to keep Jimmy, you might want to trade Trey because you got to recoup some of those 3 firsts and a third you traded to get him. So if they're admitting defeat, which they might be by drafting him to replace Jimmy Garoppolo and then not letting him replace Jimmy Garoppolo, it might be time to say, like, hey, we messed up. Let's try to move this asset while there's still some value. Because if they roll out in 2022, Jimmy Garoppolo is the week 1 starter, Trey Lance's trade value is in the basement. So they also have to be thinking about that. If they are in win now mode, Garoppolo is probably the better quarterback. But they also haven't been able to get over that hump with Jimmy. So I think, yeah, it's an interesting conversation, but you traded up to draft this player. You fooled everybody, myself included. We all thought you were going to take Mac Jones. You take Trey Lance. You get cute. Now you kind of have to live with that pick and the trade.
You know what, Matt? I listen, you bring up a lot of good points, but here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm going to say to you. These coaches, they see these guys in practice all the time. The fact that you trade away all those assets and go get the quarterback at number 3, and then he didn't really play much at all this year, tells me that he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to play. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have a great year. And the fact that Trey Lance didn't really get much burn this year, I don't think Kyle Shanahan had that much confidence in him. Now, I will say, going into the offseason, now he can go ahead and get more steps and turn this into a true quarterback competition and let the best man win. But as far as the team is concerned, the thing you got to worry about is the locker room. There's a bunch of veteran players in that locker room. They understand they have a small window right now to try to win the chip. And so those guys are not going to look at it well if you just outright deal Jimmy Garoppolo away and just hand it over to a guy that wasn't ready to take the reins of the quarterback position.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.